All right. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. We have made it to the end of the first week of school. Thank you so much for joining me today here on Coffee with the Principal. It's been my tradition since the pandemic to do a Coffee with the Principal roughly once a week on Zoom. We did it pretty much every Friday last year. That's going to be the plan moving forward. There may be some adjustments I end up making to that, but that's the plan moving forward, to meet frequently with our amazing group of families who entrust us with your children every single day. So the purpose of these coffees with the principal will be really twofold. Number one is for me to share important updates regarding what's going on at the school, what's going on in the district, all that good stuff. And then part of some of the other rest of the purpose is really to field questions. And what we find is that, having these meetings once a week, usually the first couple meetings, there's lots of questions. And then after that, there's usually not so much. So we'll also invite special guests to join me on these. So we'll have our PSW counselor, Miss Tracy, join us for one of them. We'll have officers from LA School Police join us for one of the upcoming Coffees with the Principal. We will have guests from various high schools in the area that some of our families send their kids to after us. They'll come from time to time, and we will connect them with you in that way. But anyway, I'm so glad that you're here this morning. So just a couple of things to know as we get going. One is, when you've joined the meeting, you have joined muted. You'll have a chance to unmute a little bit later on. Feel free to use the chat box as needed. Please know that we are recording the meeting, and the reason we do that is because while we like to meet with everybody live, some families simply can't do that. And so we record the meeting, and then we do post it on our YouTube channel afterwards. So that's what we do with that. Feel free to leave your camera on, but you certainly don't need to. Feel free to use the raise hand feature in Zoom. And then when we get to the Q&A, you'll be able to ask your question, and we'll go from there. I will say all of our Coffees with the Principals, including all of them from last year, are posted on our YouTube channel. If you have a minute and want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, I would encourage you to do that at that link right there, youtube.com/@KJ Academy. And anytime we publish a video, you'll get automatically notified. So I encourage you to do that. All right, let's jump right to it. This week was the first week of school, and it was a lot of fun as kids we welcomed students to class. We introduced them to their teachers. They got to know each other. We had some special guests from our board office come by, and kids got to know our physical space and engaged with each other, not only in academics, but also in social emotional learning, which are really hallmarks here at Katherine Johnson STEM Academy. Top left, we have some kiddos playing wiffle ball during lunch. This year's group seems to like wiffle ball more than previous years, so that's a lot of fun. The picture on the right is a group of I think those are our seventh graders meeting with in their classroom with our community of schools administrator, and a representative from the board district is also there. Bottom left, we have our sixth grade classroom welcoming new sixth graders to the school, and the bottom right is a PE classroom. So with Ms. Casimir standing on the right, and I'm behind it. So we are so thrilled to have your children with us. I will say we have signs up, but I think I've said before, I'll say it again. Our sixth grade class right now is full. We have no more spaces in our sixth grade. So if there are families who are currently looking for a place for a sixth grader, we do have a waiting list. They can call the main office and we can put them on the waiting list. And if something opens up, we can certainly let them know. But sixth grade is full. Yeah. Seventh and eighth grade, we've got a little bit more spots, but sixth grade is full. I mean, people are hearing the good word about what's going on here at Katherine Johnson. A couple things as we move forward. All of our students who were here on Wednesday and had PE during Wednesday received their Katherine Johnson STEM Academy planner. I have a copy somewhere here. And all of our students in PE class yesterday also received their planner. So all of their students should have an agenda planner. They use it every single day to write down all their assignments. Now, most days they only have 4 classes, so you should only look for 4 specific assignments, but that's a great way to ensure that your child is keeping on top of their work, on top of their academics, and that's something they should really get in the habit of using a lot. Studies have actually shown that one of the biggest predictors of future success way back in middle school is learning organization skills. If kids can learn and master organization skills in middle school, that sets them up for a lot of future success. I have a great team here at Katherine Johnson STEM Academy, and although your child will only have some of the teachers we have here at school, I do want you to know all of the teachers we have here at Katherine Johnson STEM Academy. And if you visit the website, I just linked it in the chat, our webpage, kjstemacademy.org/team, you can see a list of all our teachers here at the school, as well as their email addresses, as well as what periods they have conference period. And the reason I list their conference period is that that's the time that they have to, schedule a phone conversation with you, or even schedule an in-person meeting, or schedule a Zoom conference with you to talk about their child's progress. They're still getting to know our kiddos, so that'll be helpful in the future. In terms of email communication, when you reach out to them, I have them check it every day, but please be patient, because there's a lot of families, a lot of parents. If you've sent an email to a teacher and you haven't heard back in 2 school days, then let me know, and I can nudge them in the right direction. But I set the expectation with my staff, respond to emails within 2 school days. So thank you so much for your patience with that. Yeah, we're thrilled about the team that we have this year. One quick update for parents of 7th and 8th grade students. I told you we had hired a science teacher who was still, processing his paperwork with the district. So we've had a sub this first week of school. We just got word that we think his first day will be this coming Tuesday. So we're very excited to welcome our science teacher, Mr. Abram. We think we are anticipating his first day will be Tuesday. Again, everything's got to be finalized, but we are so thrilled to welcome him to the team. One of the things that I have right here is a link to Class Dojo, which is the platform that we use to communicate between teachers and students, or I'm sorry, between teachers and parents. And you all should have gotten an invite to a Class Dojo class, and it's a really great way to communicate. It also allows us to post school stories, et cetera, on that. It's a wonderful platform for communication. Some of you may have already done that. Couple things about some naming conventions. We have 2 sections of 6th grade in Class Dojo. One of them is called Avionics, and one of them is called Boosters. And I want to clarify something. The Class Dojo Boosters has nothing to do with our Booster Club, which is a separate thing. Our 7th grade, we have 2 sections of 7th grade, and they have different names. One of them is called Engines. One of them is called Fins. We have 8th grade. We have 2 sections of 8th grade. One of them is called Igniters, and one of them is called Jets. And the reason we picked all these names is because, if you notice, they are all part of a rocket. And a rocket is our school mascot here at Katherine Johnson STEM Academy. It was something that the legendary Katherine Johnson worked on, was building rockets. And so we thought that these team names, or these section names, would help have a sense of identity for our kiddos, but also a sense of community, in the sense that we all need each other. We are not complete without each other. Avionics, Boosters, Engines, Fins, Igniters, and Jets. So again, it promotes teamwork, and it promotes connectedness. One thing that I will say is that if you haven't gotten, if you have not gotten an invitation to Class Dojo yet, two things. One of them, check your email spam filter. Sometimes they wind up in there. Two, if you find it there and you still cannot figure out the invitation, if you still can't find it, then call our main office, and our office technician, Ms. Thorsten, can definitely give you your an invitation to log in. There is not a generic link to log in because you are associated with your specific child in the platform. So it's not one login for everybody. It's you being associated with your individual child so that individual communication can happen. So definitely call our main office if you have any trouble logging in, and we can make sure that you get connected. Speaking of connection, we want to provide opportunities to connect with each other as a community. And so one of the things that we are going to start doing again, we used to do this, we did this, I think, once after the pandemic, but we did it a lot before the pandemic, was we would have STEM family film nights, KJ STEM family film nights here on campus. And if you've been here, you notice our front lawn area has got a nice little space to set up some chairs, and we have an outdoor projector and some really nice speakers. And so what we want to do, we want to create an opportunity for parents and families to all come together and enjoy a fun family film, maybe once a month, but we'll see how often as we get going. Anyway, I've shared this link with some of our families already. I want to share it with you here as well. If you have particular suggestions for some family films or some STEM films, please leave them in that shared Google Sheets. I'll put the link here in the chat. Again, we will vet that list, and we'll make sure we actually don't schedule something that we haven't seen before, or we make sure it's family appropriate when we schedule those, and be on the lookout for that. All right. One of the things I want to share with you is something that's very, very important, and this is the annual household income form. Couple things I want to say about it. Number one, it's very important because this is the thing that tells essentially the federal government to ensure that schools get all of the money that they are deserved, and that kids are able to eat lunch here at the school. So here's a couple things that's important to know. Number one, they are redoing the system, and so every single person, every single family in the whole school district is being asked to fill out this household income form, no matter whether you qualify for free or reduced lunch, or no matter whether you don't qualify for free or reduced lunch. Please fill that out. We can make sure we get all the resources we need here at Katherine Johnson STEM Academy. We're at 44% of our families right now. I'll give you an update next week as to where we are. Couple things. Number one, when I will tell you this, I've worked in LA Unified for 20 years, and this is the best online form that I've ever seen in the district. It will literally only take you 3 minutes. It's 3 screens long. The first page is find your school, find your kid's name and grade number. Second page is what's your monthly income. The third page is your information as a parent. That is it. It's 3 pages. It will take you less than 3 minutes to complete. I told myself, you know what, if any of our families, if it takes you more than 5 minutes to complete, I will buy you a coffee, because this is the shortest LAUSD form that you'll ever see in your life. One quick note, very, very, very important. When you search for us in the name of schools, we are not listed under K for Catherine. We are listed under J for Johnson. So we had some families saying, I can't find you. And what you need to do is look for us under J for Johnson. I would encourage you very much, if you wouldn't mind right now, if you have not done this, go ahead. I'm going to put the link one more time in the chat. If you can click on that link, it'll open a new window, and you can probably even multitask and do this as we speak. Speaking of volunteer opportunities, we are actually going to be launching some volunteer opportunities very shortly. Miss Logia Domingue is coordinating our booster club. We've got a list going. If you want to add yourself to the list of folks who want to participate through either donations or through volunteers, the link is right there, bit.ly/KJFamilies. Some of the immediate places we can use volunteers is in our student store. We would love to have some parent volunteers volunteer like once a week in our student store. We've got snacks that they can help sell. That's a great place that families can volunteer. There's a couple other places that families can volunteer for as well. We would love to get you connected with Ms. Domingue, who's our coordinator in terms of that. And then last announcement from me, and then we'll go to some questions, is there's a lot of interest in attending Katherine Johnson STEM Academy. And if you're on this Zoom right now, you know that. And so we are already scheduling tours for next year. So like I said, I want to be very clear, we have 0 more space in our 6th grade right now. We have 0 more space for students in our 6th grade, but we will be hosting tours starting next Friday for families who have 5th graders or 4th graders or 3rd graders and want to start seeing what we're like. So if you've got friends, families, neighbors, folks who go to your church, other community members who've got 5th graders right now, and you want to have them tour the school, you can sign up for a tour. You could have them sign up for a tour. If you are a family and you have not been here yet and your kid's currently here, I'm going to ask you to not sign up for that tour. If you would wait till our back to school night, which is I believe it's on September 7th, that would be super helpful. All right. Let's see. Okay, that is the last announcement. Oh, that's the second last announcement that I had. One thing that I will say, I didn't get to add a slide to it for this, but one of the things, I think I sent out a message in the last 20 minutes. You may have gotten a text or an email. We're anticipating a lot of rain and a lot of wind Sunday evening and Monday through remnants of Hurricane Hilary that's coming up the Baja coast. Couple of things. There's a whole list of things that we're doing as a school, to prepare for student safety. Reviewing all emergency supplies, making sure everything is secured down, nothing is airborne. We have all of the campus and the maintenance people on our speed dials. So if we come in Monday morning and there's like branches and stuff, we can get that cleared out right away. I'll be in early Monday morning just to ensure everything is safe and ready to go. You'll get the same message from us. I think I've scheduled it to go out Sunday afternoon. But the most important thing is communication. So you can count on very quick and clear communication from us here at Katherine Johnson STEM Academy. And we know with weather events, some things can change rather quickly. So I would encourage you all to make sure you're on those, getting those text messages or emails. If you didn't get that, call our main office and we can make sure that you know how to resubscribe if you once unsubscribed from that. And then Class Dojo is really, really vital too. We'll share important information with that. Yeah, I know it's early in the year, but one of the things we always encourage families to do, because it helps other current families find us, is leave reviews on great schools. And there's a link right there. You can do that. Yeah, so I will stop talking right now, and there's a question in the chat. I will start with that, and then folks can raise their hand or put other questions in the chat, and we've got about 10 minutes for questions. So let's do this. There's a question in the chat that says, when do students dress for PE? So they should start dressing for PE probably in about a week or two, but more specific information will come directly from the PE teacher, Miss Casimir. She will very likely communicate that on Class Dojo. So let's see, on Class Dojo. So make sure you're on that, and there'll be more information in terms of that. Okay, so let's see. Here's another question. When will students get Chromebooks? So Chromebooks are here. We've inventoried them, and because we are growing, we actually don't have enough Chromebooks for every kid to have their own just yet. Here's the good news. The good news is that the district has placed an order for us to receive new Chromebooks, so we can make sure that we've got one for every single student. In the meantime, what we're going to do is we're going to take the Chromebooks that we have and put them in classrooms so that students are going to be able to use them in classrooms. All right, there's another question in the chat that asks about the student-teacher ratio. So they're different in every grade level. In the 6th grade, it's about 30-1. Right now, the questions are right now the sections in each grade level are a little bit unbalanced. And so one of the things we're doing is, please know and thank you for your patience, those will be balanced in the coming weeks, based on academics, based on what's in a student's IEP, based on whether a student is identified as gifted and talented. So please know that we are aware that, like, specifically the 2 sections of 6th grade are very different sizes. And thank you for your patience as we are actively working on balancing those over time. Let's see, there's a question that says, my daughter already has a Chromebook from elementary. Does she bring that one? I would say that once we launch Chromebooks here, then she can absolutely bring that one. I'm assuming that you mean that it's a Chromebook that was issued by her LAUSD elementary school. And if that's the case, yep, then absolutely. And her same login information will work for that. Great questions. Are there any other questions that anyone has at this time? And here's the good news. I will tell you this. I will do these coffees with the principal pretty much every week. So if there's something that you miss one week, you'll be able to check out the archive, but also you'll be able to ask your question the next week. All right, how many students per classroom? Do you break up the students by group or capacity, or by the learning capacity? All right, great question. So the classrooms can actually hold up to 40 students. We don't want to put 40 students in a classroom. We want to get those ratios down. And again, in 6th grade, we'll be getting them down to 30-1. Even within a classroom of 30 students, which is under our capacity. I don't know if you saw it in the picture, but the desks are arranged into like pods of learning groups, so that the teacher can say, all right, I want these 4 groups to be working on this, and I'm going to deliver a mini lesson on this while this group is working on like individual work, and then they can rotate. So there's a lot of instructional strategies that happen around how the classroom is organized. There's a question about if a student did not receive an agenda planner, who should they address that to? If they were absent and didn't receive an agenda planner, they should go to Miss Casimir, their PE teacher, because she's got the boxes of agenda planners. If they aren't able to catch up with Miss Casimir, they can come to the main office and we can do that. Will homework be strictly on Chromebooks? It'll be a mix. Some of it will be on Chromebooks. Some of it will be on Chromebooks. Some of it will be on, paper pencil. Some of them will be like longer term projects that will happen, during the semester, and they'll have like check-in points that'll happen. So it'll be a variety of things. Great question. Being absent, a letter to every teacher. No, a letter to every teacher isn't necessary. What you can usually do is there's actually a way to send, the easiest way to do it is to send a group message on Class Dojo. You can create a message and you can say, I'm going to send it to, if you're a 6th grade family, you can say, I'm sending it to Ram and G and Dunklin and Casimir, the 4 6th grade teachers. And you can just type it once and click send, and all 4 of them will get them. That's the best way to handle it in terms of like missing assignments and things. In terms of like absences, make sure there's a note that gets turned into the main office, and we'll log that absence appropriately. Let's see. Regarding the storm, if we are flooded, will there be class? So I want to be very clear at this point. At this point, we're not anticipating anything out of the ordinary on Monday. You know, we do expect there to be, you know, rain, but we do expect that class will be able to go on as normal. However, if anything does change, we'll certainly send that out to families. I see a raised hand, so I'm going to call on Miss Tanisha, and then I'll continue with some questions in the chat. Miss Tanisha, are you unmuted?
Yes, I'm unmuted. Good morning. I'm driving, so I couldn't text.
No worries. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my question is concerning like the extra like activities for like after school clubs, I believe, like a robotics and I think it's an engineering club or something like that.
Yep.
When are those gonna start, and are they available to 6th graders?
Great questions. So we have got, currently we have 3 classes, or sorry, 3 after school clubs that we anticipate will start the week after Labor Day, so the week of September 5th. And those are the VEX Robotics Club, and that is open to all grade levels. The Math Counts Club, and that is open to all grade levels. We currently have a leadership club that is specifically for 8th graders, but we're also looking to add a leadership club that will be open to other grade levels as well. Great question.
Okay, and just to follow up on that, are those clubs first come, first served? Do they have a capacity, and then do you also pay for your kids to be a part of those clubs?
Great question. Currently, the capacity would be about 15 to 20 students in each. If there was more student interest than there was capacity, you know, it would be first come, first serve. If we started having kids on a wait list for a particular club, then I would try to find another adult to open another section of that club. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Currently, the three clubs that I mentioned do not have any entrance fees or costs associated with them. So, yeah.
Okay, and then how soon will information go out to the students so when they can sign up for the clubs? Because my daughter is really interested in robotics.
Awesome. So your daughter should definitely just talk to Miss Dunklin, who's the robotics teacher. But I know she's probably starting an informal list, but there will be like a launch right after the Labor Day weekend. Great question.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. It would be nice if I unmuted. So again, I'll take the remaining questions that are in the chat, and then save any questions. You can either email me later, or you can save them for next week. All right. Do you offer any Spanish classes during the semester? Currently, we don't. But that is something that, you know, I would love to open a club on. I would also say this, you know, volunteering opportunities. I can actually have a parent volunteer run an after-school club. So if you know someone who speaks Spanish and would like to offer like an after-school club for Spanish, please shoot me an email and let me know. All right. If there is a class, what does that look like during the storm? Great question. So Monday or any day, it's rainy. Our classrooms are all really nicely insulated. Students are in classroom. It's very dry. We don't have leaks. We tested all that. It's rained here plenty of times before that. During lunchtime, what we do is we walk the students to the covered eating area at Westchester High School. Our lunch schedules are organized so there's no overlap, so they eat on their own in their lunch area. It's completely covered. And then during wellness break, we ask them to stay, inside the classroom. I would encourage you to bring an umbrella because, they're walking from the front gate to the classrooms. They're walking from one classroom to the next classroom. But it's something that will be, something that we address at that time. We've done it plenty of times before. I will tell you this. What I've seen is on rainy days, middle school kids get wetter from jumping around in the puddles than they actually get from any rain that's coming from the sky. So, being a 12-year-old kid means that when you see puddles, sometimes you like to, make use of those puddles. And we remind the kids to try to keep their feet dry. But some just love the puddles. But if your kid doesn't want to get wet, they have an umbrella, they won't get really wet. All right. How many days are allocated for students' bereavement leave? That's a great question. If you, someone who has a tablet, asked that question about how many days are allocated for students' bereavement leave, if you would do me a favor and send an email to our office manager, Mr. Medellin, he can look up that answer for you. Okay. Let's see, blah, 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 blah. We talked about PE. Oh, here we go. If we need to pick up early, what is the process? Oh, great question. If you need to pick up your child before the end of the student day, here's basically, you just come to the school, park will buzz you in, you'll come to the main office, you have to show ID, it's got to match what's on the kid's record, and then we'll call your kid to come to the main office and your kid goes with you. If your child dropped off a cell phone, what we will do is we will go get that cell phone out of our locked box and give that to you and to the student to take home that day. One thing that would be very helpful, if you can help us with on early pickups, is if you can, there's a link on our website that says like early pickup form. If you fill that out, what that will do is that will alert our PE teacher if there's an early pickup during PE. So for example, like in October or September, if their kid is way down in the PE area, when you're supposed to pick them up, that can take a little bit of time. If we know you're coming, that helps us ensure that your kid is ready to go when you're there. PE, we talked about starting with a uniform in a couple weeks. Yes, we will be posting this Zoom on our YouTube channel. When will parents get information regarding the first booster meeting, and will be on Zoom or person? So great question. I don't know whether it'll be Zoom in person, but anticipate information about the first meeting to come out sometime next week. I'm actually meeting with Ms. Loja right after this, and we're going to set up that first meeting, and we'll be sure that all the families know about that. Extracurriculum and electives. So currently what we have for our electives are, let's see, in 6th grade, every student gets art and computer science. In 7th grade, I think it's geography and digital art and robotics. And in 8th grade, it's, what is it? It's ethnic studies and engineering. Yeah. And then after school, we've got the math club, the VEX robotics club, and the leadership club. Can teachers encourage the students to take the after class robotics and engineering classes? Absolutely. And then the question about who's the math club teacher, that will be Mr. Kendrick. Mr. Kendrick, who's our 7th and 8th grade math teacher. He's leading the math club, but again, open to all grade levels. Awesome. We are a little bit over time. If there was any questions that you didn't get answered, no problem. Just shoot me an email, or if you want to wait till next week, we'll see you next week. But anyway, thank you so much for joining with me for today's Coffee with the Principal. Have a wonderful Friday. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.